Don't you get it? I want to go on a date. I'm lonely.
You're stressed out from working too hard. You need a vacation from running everyone else's vacation. And I know just how to fix it.
Mavis, where are we going? A cruise?
Yup, it's that kind of plot. You know, these days, folks, I feel really sorry for Gennedy Tartakovsky. Here's an animator who, through several much beloved cartoons of the last 20 years, has established much of the visual style that a whole generation of television animation has followed. Even outside of Samurai Jack, his magnum opus, his work on other cartoons goes far and wide. And what has this visionary's career at Sony Animation consisted of for the last several years? Being promised the chance to make something he's passionate about if he'll direct a Hotel Transylvania, then being told nope after he's done that, and slotted in to make another Hotel Transylvania. However, despite being stuck with animated Adam Sandler vehicles that subscribe to most children's movies cliches, Gennedy has done one thing to make these films stand out: the visuals. There are other modern CG animations that recall the anarchy of the great cartoon shorts, but none of them commit to anti-realistic madcap physics like these do. I realise, to a lot of viewers, this translates to wacky character animation for the sake of it, and sure, in and of itself, it only proves as an amusing distraction from the boredom present elsewhere in these films. The good news, then, since Gennedy has a co-writing credit on Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation, that means the screenplay is structured to allow for as much of that angular, classical cartooning as possible. It gets really close to being a feature-length take on a 40s cartoon short, the ones that establish a new scenario and setting, and then cram in as much visual jokes as 7 minutes allows for. Now, Hotel Transylvania 3 can't fully be that, as it's still made on Sony Animation money, and thus has a largely limp narrative. Honestly, it's basically dead as regards meat for discussion. Narratively and in character arcs, it takes the easy path, and Gennedy's wit doesn't bleed over into the verbal jokes, which remain largely lifeless, like Dracula sucked on their blood. I like to care about animated characters, even gag vehicles, but this reveals plot-heavy info so much earlier than the main characters find it out, that it's hard to drum up much sentiment for them during the plotless middle third. But, again, that's clearly not the point here. The point is the visual gags. Even if the film can't be all about them, there are so many scenes that exist mostly for comic business in playing around with the characters' squishy bodies and flexible faces. It's almost cliché to say a given animated work has a lot of Looney Tunes in it, but clichés become so because they are true, my friends. In particular, I was often reminded of the work of Bob Clampett, one of the Looney Tunes pioneers. He specialised in plastic, physics-defying humour, doing quite a bit to make Looney Tunes loony in the first place. There's even an early sequence here with Gremlins that's almost narratively pointless and is mostly a tribute to Clampett's Gremlins. That's how far the influence goes. I would love to list off the various visual things that caught my eye, but I'll keep it to a few highlights. Gennedy clearly loved the design of the Captain, who feels like a survivor of his Popeye feature that Sony killed in its crib several years back. With her bulgy proportions and springy limbs, this is a feature that really loves rubber hose style animation, with body parts jolting into place and stretching even when a gag doesn't specifically call for it. Everything is sidelined to focus on being visually bold, in the colours, the lighting, and especially the poses. Most CG animation focuses on smooth, constant motion. This one puts extra work into having static poses be very strong and expressive. In case this sounds like something only an animation nerd might notice, it really isn't. It's very visually unsubtle, but never in an unsettling way. And again, that the screenplay is largely, though not completely, structured around this comic business means a large percentage is blissful cartoon anarchy. Even if obviously not every gag works, you're constantly aware that Gennedy loves animation and wants to share its visual delights as best he can. Even if, regrettably, this one doesn't give him a chance to make something truly special, which is something Sony Animation desperately needs, he has nothing to be ashamed of here. Either way, looks like Hotel Transylvania 3 takes the bomb spot on the list. Its script, narrative and characters lock it below being a good film, but it's the first one in the franchise where all that didn't dominate my impression coming out of the theatre. Put it this way, if this film remains at the list's bottom, we have a very solid slate of animated features for the rest of the year. The reviews keep coming, with Teen Titans Go to the movies next. Now, this would be where I'd vocalise how my fanatical desire for more traditional animation in theatres comes up against a visual style only marginally upgraded from the TV show it's based on. Not to mention me based on a TV show that, while not nearly the abomination many often claim it to be, is wildly inconsistent in delivering its mild goods. But this film has been getting absurdly strong critical reviews. Not Pixar level, but far better than I'd have ever predicted. So I'm curious to see for myself what the film's done to earn that praise.
Must have been garlic in the guacamole.
Isn't that deadly for you?
Was that you?
I hope you enjoyed the video, folks. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on both the review and Hotel Transylvania 3 if you've seen it. Plus, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff would really help spread the channel's reach, as would some social media follows. Every little bit helps, you know. Until next time, folks.